Good afternoon and welcome back. Got to be continuing today, hopefully getting finished the Space Invaders clone that I've been making using Construct 3. There's been 3 previous live streams on making this, so if you want to check those out, if you've missed them, you can see those in my channel on YouTube. So first of all, since last time I just set up the saving of the high score so that it stays there between playthroughs. Pretty simple to do, so but I did that off stream. I'll just go through the code. We added the local storage object there and the Ajax object. Hi Josh, you alright? You made it. Did you get the notification that time? So we've added those 2 objects, and on start of the layout it checks if there's a Space Invaders high score that exists. If it does exist, we get that, and then once it's finished the get, then we set the high score to that value. So if there isn't a high score saved, then it does nothing and it'll just be set to 0 in the normal logic of the game. So that's that sorted. One of the things, it's mainly finishing off today. One of the things that I'm needing to get added in is to change the speed of the enemies. Because currently when you play the game, all that happens is you shoot the enemies and they don't get any faster. They just keep going along, plodding along at the same speed, which isn't going to be much of a challenge. In the original Space Invaders, obviously the more you shoot, the faster they get. So what we'll do, we'll get that added into the game. I didn't just happen to be on YouTube. Alright, I pop it in the channel in the Twitch notification, along with the Twitch notifications manually, but good you see me here anyway. You having a good day? You up to much? You working? So here, where we're setting the alien moving every second, what my idea is that we'll set it the every seconds based on the number of enemies on screen. So what we'll do, we'll get the enemies count, and then if I divide that by 100, originally we were doing it every half a second. So there's 60 enemies, so we'll be starting off doing it every 0.6 seconds, and then obviously as we get further down they should hopefully speed up. So we'll see if that actually does work as I'm hoping it does. So play the game. And now hopefully as we shoot the enemies they'll speed up. Also need to increase the speed of these enemy and player bullets because they're a little bit slow compared to the original. It looks to be slowly speeding up. Yep, they're definitely speeding up. Try and get towards the end and just check that they don't speed up too much, because if so I may have to put a limit on the speed that they can get to. It's a little bit too easy this game though. I need to set the enemies firing at a greater rate as well, because it's currently very easy to avoid them. I'm not even really trying. Or maybe I'm just a Space Invaders expert. And as I say that, I get killed. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, I'm happy with that speed. So that'll increase the difficulty. I work in a way I'm making a character creator, so lots of skeletons, animations, retargeting and whatnot. How are you doing the speed? Up plus 1% per enemy or something. What I do, I move the enemies left or right every so many seconds. They go left or right by 5 pixels. So what I'm doing is counting how many enemies are there on screen and then dividing that number by 100, and that's how many seconds I'm moving them by. Right, so that's that sorted. Another thing that we need to do, it's got to be lots of little bits today, I think, just tidying stuff up. We could do with having the high score displayed on the menu as well. So I'll just reuse the objects that I created for the UI in the game. And then on the start of the menu event, we will set the text to be the high score. So text high score, and we'll set the text. Right, need to do it there on start of layout, not where I was trying to do it. Text high score, set text, and we'll just set that to high score. I'm also going to do that again here because just in case there's a delay in actually checking the save game for the high score and loading it in, because it'll set it initially there to 0, and if it hadn't done this lot first it wouldn't update, so we'll set that there. Right, okay, so what else do we still need to do? Could do with, we'll speed up the enemy bullets and the player bullets while I remember that one. We'll go back to the game layout. The player bullets currently 250, we'll change that to 350. And we'll also make the enemy bullet, that's slightly slow, we'll make that 300. Let's just check how that goes. Yeah, that's a lot better than going to be more difficult to avoid. I may just speed up the spawn rate of the enemies, although I could probably just do that on a second level. Right, so we've got sort of a full game loop there, high score saving, enemies speeding up. What we now need to do is make it so that once we've cleared a level, then we start another level. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to make a load of different layouts. I'll do it all in the same layout. Just be a few things we'll need to move out and reset those at a different point. Because what I'll be doing is restarting the layout with and I'll be using a level number global variable to keep track of what level we're on and what settings to use. So we'll add that other variable in now. Level number. And we're not going to be wanting to reset the score because that will happen every time we restart the levels, so I'll add that onto the main menu at the point when the player presses the start button. We don't want to be setting the player lives back to 3 because they may have lost some during the level. So we'll add that in there as well. That should allow us to restart levels now. So what we'll do is we'll add a new group just to keep things tidy, and we'll call this level complete logic. I'll just keep all these stuff that happens when you complete a level in here. So what we need to do is compare the enemy count, and when that gets to less than 0 then we'll perform this logic. So we'll compare two values. So when it's less or equal to 0, what we want to do is very similar to the game over. We will destroy any UFOs that happen to be on screen. We will also destroy any player or enemy bullets. And what I will do, I'm going to change the name of this and make it a multi-purpose sort of object, and I'll just reuse the text on here to display the level complete. And I think what I'll also add at some point is a countdown at the start of each level, so just to get the player prepared instead of going straight into it. So we'll just call it game message. I think I'm going to have to rename the bits where it shows and hides it, yeah, because it doesn't automatically update those. And in the game over we were. And if we've got to make it multi-functional now, I'm going to have to change the text each time I show it so that it's showing the correct text. Because if we've been using it for a level complete and then the player dies, then it's not going to say the correct message. So we'll set the text to game over. So we'll duplicate those and add those in there, and we'll change that to level complete. Let's just check that that text actually fits in. Yep, that's fine, that fits in there. So when we get 0, what we want to do then is wait maybe 2 seconds and then restart layout, and we also want to add to the level number. We'll do that obviously before we restart the layout. So I think that should probably work. When I start the level, we're hiding that message. Enemies less than 0, destroying that, destroying that. Yep, that should work. So what we'll do, test that. Don't know why I didn't just leave one enemy. Level complete. Starts again. Identically, it's kept the score that we'd got, so that works fine. Just bring those enemies back in. So what I'm going to do now is on the start of the layout, make a countdown timer. So on start layout, I'm going to make sure that that is visible to begin with. We're going to set aliens can move to false so that they don't start straight away. Then we'll add a system wait, and we'll wait 1 second. We're also going to set that game over text, which I'm going to change the name off to message text. Set text to 3. Text 3, so we'll set it to 2. And we'll duplicate that again. We'll set that to 1. And then do I want it to be 0 and then go, or should we just have it hide after that 1 second? I think I'm just going to make it disappear after that. So what we'll do, we'll set that to invisible, and then we'll set that the aliens can move to true. Just thinking one thing also that I could probably do with limiting is the actual player movement. So I think I'm going to make it so that the player can only move and fire when the aliens can move. So I'm going to change that to game running, just to be more descriptive to what it's got to be used for now. Where's my player controls there? So we will compare the bool. Let's see if the game is running is the only time that those things can happen. So let's just try check this works. 2, 1, we can't move, we can't fire until that's done. Right, I'll just check my to-do list. So I've got high scores done, the enemy speed, scores on the menu. Right, so that's just what I need to do now is just work out a way that this increase in level number is going to actually cause the difficulty to increase. So I'm calculating the enemy's movement. Probably making the enemies move would be a logical way. So I'm calling it based on the count divided by 100. To be honest, I think it's going to get quite hard, this game, so I think probably ramping up the difficulty for the first 4 or 5 levels will probably be more than enough, and then after that it'll just be a case of keeping the level probably the same, or it's going to get to a point where it's never going to work. Hey Pietro Moroni. Oh wait, wrong account. I think I know who's going to appear, but I will wait and see so I don't make a fool of myself. Yep, that's correct. Hi Watty, you alright? That was your personal account. How's things? Have you been at uni today? Right, I think I'm going to add onto the enemy movement another 0.1 of a second to make it a bit slower for the first few levels. I'm just trying to work out the best way of doing this. Yeah, I think it's got the easiest way is just going to be to pop a check in at the beginning here. So we'll just compare a variable. I could probably think of some complicated equation to do it, but I think this has just got to be the easiest way just to check what level they're on. We'll just add another variable. I'll call that level modifier, just so we can use this value to modify the time. So if level equals 1, so currently doing 0.6 to begin with. Maybe set the level modifier to 0.1. I'm only got to do it for the first 5 levels, then after that the level difficulty can stay the same. If I pop that one there, it should be 2 next. Online, unfortunately, we're all locked at home once again. We are too. We have been since pretty much the new year. Hopefully things will get better soon when these vaccines are all rolled out. We'll change that to 0.08. 0.06. So each level it's going to get slightly faster. Eight. 0.02. And then we'll add another one that if it's greater than 5, we'll just set it to 0, so it's not going to have any effect. Bit of a sloppy dirty way to do it, that, but it'll work. So if it's level 1, it'll add 0.1 onto the speed of the alien, so it'll deduct 0.1 of a second off the speed of them, so that'll make them slower. And it'll get down to 0 and have no effect if anyone gets to greater than level 5. So what we'll do, we'll just add in here level modifier. So that should now, well, it will affect the actual speed of the levels. So let's just check that that's not too slow. You're planning on finishing the game today? Yeah, I'm actually. It's pretty close to being finished now. Just currently the bits I've just been working on then was just increasing the difficulty as you complete a level, because I'm going to use the same layout for each level. Just increase a level number. So what I was doing there was just setting a modifier to make the aliens go a bit faster. So I think once I've got this working, then it's got to be a case of adding the sounds in, which I created quickly earlier, and then maybe some just a few simple particle effects for the explosions, and then I think we're probably pretty much good to go. I've got the alien speeding up now. Did that earlier based on the number of aliens on screen. I divide that number by 100 and use that in the movement speed calculation. Right, I've just remembered one thing I've not done. I can't shoot that UFO that goes on the top. So what we'll do is add in the logic for that. Are you streaming today, Watty? Or let's have a look. Where's the player bullets? Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll play a bullet on collision with UFO. Are you taking part in the 1 hour game jam? What, Eep? You decided to do that? I'll just copy that down from there. Yeah, we also need to then destroy that. And then we'll add to the score. I'll just change that. And what we'll do, we'll just make all the UFOs worth 100 points. So when the player sprite hits the UFO, it destroys the sprite and the UFO and adds 100 to the score. Right, I think we're probably ready to add some annoying sound effects. Yes, I am. I'm not sure if you even make it out of it alive or with a game though. Yeah, I've thought of an idea for a game. It's very simple. It's going to need nothing more than squares and a circle to make it working. So it's going to be just like probably like a really fast-paced little quick mobile type game where it's just a high score of, try not to give too much away, but just trying to hit something or collect something repeatedly to get the highest score you can. I'm having some issues with Wi-Fi. I'll try restarting router and right back. Yep, no problem. Right. Right, time to import some annoying sounds. So sounds, import sounds. I've made these sounds earlier just using BFXR, so they're very sort of retro sounding random noises. So what I need to do is add the audio game object in, system object. And the first sound we need to add in is when the player shoots. So player controls, when they fire, what we want to do is play player shoot. They're normally quite loud, these, so not to deafen everyone, I'll just reduce them to minus 10 decibels. Let's just check that that plays okay. Yep, a very retro sounding next up, when the enemy moves in Space Invaders, it makes a noise every time the enemies move, so enemy movement. We only need to do it once, we don't need to put it in for both options. And we'll play enemy move, not looping, and we'll put that as minus 10 as well. See how annoying this noise is. The noise should get faster. Right, next up, when the UFO's on screen, need to make a really annoying noise as well. So where was it? So here what's happening is whenever a UFO is visible, it's moving right, so we might as well what I'll do, I'll duplicate that because it's similar logic we need, but we only want it to start playing once while it's on screen. We may need to then stop it once it goes off screen as well. So we'll add another condition and we'll just make that to trigger once while true, so that should, when that first becomes true, we'll start to play the audio. Hi Xander, you alright? Looking decent? Yeah, it's pretty much done. I'm just adding the sounds in, then some particle effects, and we should be pretty much done then. Today I've worked on adding in the speeding up of the enemies as you shoot them. Just doing that by using the enemy count and doing that. You're pretty quiet, can I bump the volume up? Yeah, sure. Is that any better? Probably just got the microphone too far away rather than anything else, but move the microphone a bit closer as well. So yeah, the enemies speed up now based on the number of them that are left on the screen. We're saving the high score to local storage. So it's pretty much done. So we'll set this to loop. We'll set that low again. I'm going to give it a tag because I think I'm going to have to stop it playing when the UFO's not on screen. So let's just check if that works. Yeah, cool. Cheers, Sander. Notice you've got another devlog out. I've not had a chance to watch it yet, but I'll give that a watch after this. Zanderwood's another game dev who uses Construct Free. He's making a game at the moment called Orion's Throne, if I remember the second word. It's well worth checking out his devlogs. Right, I didn't actually notice if that stopped playing. No, it doesn't. So when UFO's not visible, just invert that. Stop. And put that tag in there with that. Not done much with audio, so I think that should work. Just hide under there and let a UFO appear, and hopefully the sound will... Yep, that stops. Just check it starts again with the next one. Yep, so that's that bit working. The player death, so when the player dies I need to add audio for that. I've missed a lot of the streams on this. I think I'll have to go back and rewatch them to see how you made it. Yeah, there's nothing majorly out of the ordinary in it. It's just a good basic game to start with, because I'm planning on doing these every couple of weeks. Just a lunchtime normally sort of stream where I remake some 80s arcade game. So I'm hoping to do them in Construct and then the week after in Godot, and then do another game the week after, but we'll see how time goes. Because I've also got lots of other things that I'm wanting to do as well, so... yeah, it's a small one, not much happened last week. Well, I think you're allowed to slow down a little bit, because you do an awful lot of game dev related stuff. Just doing the videos themselves can take a long time. Right, so player death was the next one we were going to do. Try to remember where I've actually put things. Player hit. So in here we'll play the player death. We don't need to give that a tag because that will just play once. So when the player gets hit, they should now get an explosion as well. Can you remake Double Dragon in Construct? I'll add it to the list. Something I've always wanted to do is make a fighting game. Because I always love games like Double Dragon and Renegade and Target Renegade were games that I played an awful lot of, which were similar when I was younger. So I will make some form of fighting game like that in these streams at some point. I think what I'm going to do with these streams after I've finished each game is just go back and edit them and put over some more concise audio instead of me waffling on. Because it was partway through the second stream, I think it was, of about 10 minutes where I had my microphone off and didn't realise. Just check it's on now, because, yeah. Hi, what heap? Is your internet a bit better now? Oh yeah, seems a bit ambitious. Yeah, but we need to challenge ourselves, don't we? Right, it's a game over. Right, I'm just going to make that button actually say play on it, so let's have a look. The one thing that I do find a little bit annoying with this sprite editor in Construct is that there's no text option, which is just a little bit of a pain. So it's 96 by 32. I'm just got to quickly fire up a sprite and what size did I say that was? 96 by 32. Change over to a sprite. I'm not really using any particular colour palette for this. We'll just make a horrible bright yellow button. We'll just use Gravity because that's the font I've used in the game. Let's make it a little bit smaller. I'll just cut and paste that into there. Why is it not cutting and pasting? That image point back to the middle. Don't really like that colour, it's a little bit. So I'll just copy that one and we'll just flood fill it in with the original colour. It's a bit brighter. Right, so we've got the sounds added, the level progression, high scores, game over. Right, it's just a case of adding some particles in. Yeah, the internet still suck, I'm unsure why, lol. If you guys want to check out the progress of Arise Throne, I uploaded the newest build of the game to Twitch, same link and password as in the Discord. Level 2A is now on there if you complete level 1. I'll give that a go tonight at some point. Don't think I've got a lot else on, so see what progress you've made. Are you looking forward to the hour-long game jam, Xander? Just realised I never swapped screen back, did I? But there's the new button in game anyway, which is what I was doing one. I was just saying to what before you came in that I've got an idea for the hour jam. It's just a case of whether I think I'll get it done, but it's quite a simple idea with a basic core mechanic and it's just a high score type game. No. I thought you'd be up for doing that game jam. Right, so let's make a start on some particles. I'm just going to do a simple particle that I'll reuse for them all. It's going to be hard, although it'll be changed to the hours I normally pile into devlogs and games. Yeah, it'll be nice. Are you going to stream? Do you stream? I don't think you do, but I may be wrong with that. If you do, I've not caught one of your streams. So we'll just make this white, and we'll make it just 2 by 2 because it's just got to be more of a pixel sort of explosion effect. Right, I've popped that on a layer that I can't actually see, so pop it on the game layer, hide that layer again. Right, creating particle effects is something that I don't do very often, and I've not done in Construct for probably very often at all, so we'll make them the size. Preview it. So we need the spray cone to be 360. I want it to be one shot. That's way too much speed, so we'll slow that down a lot. Slow that down as well. What's that look like? Not too bad. Maybe slow that down a little bit more. No, I don't. I'm saving it. I'll stream once I hit 1,000 subs. I suppose that's a good idea. I'm trying to power getting more subs by streaming. I'll do an hour devlog on it from start to finish. Oh, cool. I know when I did the Tri-Jam once last year, I did a video on that, and all I did was record the full 3 hours and then just did a sped up video of that over about 10 minutes. It wasn't very successful. Just got to give that a destroy outside of layout behaviour, so it just gets destroyed when the game starts. So let me just check where the image points are on these enemies. Yep, luckily they're in the middle. Is that the same for the UFO? Yep, that's in the top left, so I'll add a second one to that. And pop that in the middle. So what we'll do now, we'll trigger these explosions when they get hit. So the player bullet behaviours, where are they? Not organised this very well, it's just one long event sheet. Normally when I'm making bigger games I'll split everything out into various event sheets so that like the player logic's in one, enemies in another and everything's separate, but I've not done that with this one. So on collision with family enemies, what we want is that enemy to spawn another object. We want that to be a particle effect. The explosion. We'll do that on the game layer at image point 0 for this one. We don't want anything to spawn when it hits the bullet. We better do that before we destroy it, or it's not going to know where I have a position to spawn it. If I did it down there, it'd have already destroyed the enemy. So when I tried to spawn a particle explosion at the enemy, it wouldn't know what enemy it was. So you need to make sure that's before they destroy. And the same here. We'll just replace this object with the UFO. And then when the player dies, we want the player to spawn it as well. So we wanted that image point 1 because I added another image point onto that, so it spawns in the middle. And when the player's hit, we want the player to spawn the explosion. On live game, I'll just check what image points I've got on the player, because yeah, it's at the bottom, so I'll add another one to that and pop that in the middle of the player and spawn that on that image point I've just created. I think streaming's a good way to get watch time. Looking at my stats, I think I'll hit 1k before I get 4k watch hours. Hopefully that'll boost it up. Yeah, I've found doing these streams, I've not got many subscribers, and my watch hours were, before I started streaming, I think they were about 60 hours. I've trebled that nearly in 3 weeks with doing these streams, so I'm happy with how that's gone, and my subscribers are going up. Took me about 7 months to get to 100. I've nearly got another 50 in 5 weeks, so it's definitely going in the right direction, and I think the streaming's definitely helping, especially with the watch time. And I like with YouTube that once you create a video, it's there for life. Streaming's great for watching, but I'm not sure how Discovery works on YouTube. Discovery's thumbnails, titles every month. I go through the analysis, swap thumbs and files, some videos under 5% CTR. Yeah, I do struggle with the click-through rate. I probably could do with paying more attention to that. I think mine hover around probably between 4 and 10%, so I could probably do with maybe paying a bit more. I've just noticed a bug there that I think that was the noise for the UFO, it was kept on playing. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is change when I turn that music off. That when it's destroyed, I'll do that. So I think that should solve that problem. Well, let's check these. Explosions are spawning. So they spawn both when the player. I'm just going to trust that they spawn when that UFO gets hit, because I don't think I'm going to be able to hit that. Oh, what was I saying? What I need to do is try and get killed while a UFO's on screen, because I think that's the problem before, when I got killed and it kept playing. I think the UFO was still on screen, so it never triggered that it was off screen. Come on, someone kill me. Nope. Wait for the next one to appear. Typical. It stopped, so yeah, I think it was still on the screen. Right, I think that is pretty much this game done. The only thing that I do want to just have a look at, I'm speeding the enemies up depending on what level they're on. I'm just going to have a look at my logic for how often they fire, because I think I'm going to increase that as well. So they're currently firing every between 1 and 2 seconds. I think I'm just going to maybe make that, what did I set this level modifier value to? Let's just catch up with chat. I do like to also keep streaming and getting involved in collabs. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way to do it. Sanderwood, I meant. Stream discovery on Twitch. There are categories here. I'm not sure how it works. There's categories on YouTube as well. And then I think it's just, if you search for something that you're streaming, then I think live streams come up. I'm not 100% sure how it works either. Yeah, I noticed you work really hard. Huge props to you. Thanks, man. I have a 5-year plan. Yeah, I've heard you mention this 5-year plan before, and good luck with it, because I know you have mentioned it in passing a few times. Well done, Rich. Got to go, but I'm going to go back and take a look at these streams soon. Cheers, Sander. Thanks for popping by. I'll be finishing up shortly anyway, but thanks for popping by. Right, let me just have a think about how I could do this. So we're currently streaming, doing it what? Level 1. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that floor value so it's not a whole number anymore, and just to add a little bit of difference, I'm going to make it 1.9 plus level modifier. And I'm going to take the level modifier off the lower range as well, so that just means that it can happen a little bit quicker. Right, now do I want to do that? No, I'll leave it as that. Let's check that still works and it's not broken the game. And then I think we're pretty much done with Space Invaders in Construct 3. And then next hopefully next week, but maybe the week after, I'll have a go at doing this in Godot, which is another engine that I use. I'm not as comfortable using Godot as I am Construct 3, so it'll probably take me longer to do. There'll probably be a lot more mistakes along the way, but it'll make good entertainment. Maybe it'll be how not to make Space Invaders in Godot, but we'll see. Yeah, well, everything seems to be working there. So that is Space Invaders in Construct 3. So thanks for watching. Cheers, what heaps. I'll catch you later. What I'll do over the next week, so I'll edit these videos down into just a shorter how to make Space Invaders tutorial. But that's